Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and salutations to the Akim who are tuning to these videos. Alright, so I wanted to go into these two articles here, back to back, because I feel like they're really, they work hand in hand, because it's going to go talking about how, like right now, it's about to be Thanksgiving, and people are trying to celebrate it, and people aren't going to regard, what the government, what the news is saying about traveling during the, CV-19. It's like I'm trying to, limit my speech because, the famine of the word is starting to take effect. All these prophecies are starting to take effect, and in these two articles, it's pretty much it's a prophecy that's written in the scriptures, specifically in Second Ezra and 15. But before I get into these articles, I want to read this in Jeremiah 30:7. Just to say it again, to remind you and myself that we're in these last days, and Jacob's trouble. We're in the beginning stages of it. We're about to see all out hell break out. In the world. So you have to depart from iniquity. You have to make your supplications for the Lord to the Lord, so that you're protected in these last days. Because there's going to come a time where the famine of the word is going to kick in. You're not going to be able to find these videos, so you can get comforted. So you're going to have this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding inside of your mind, so that you don't have to double check, in the time of Jacob's trouble. All right, so this is Jeremiah 30 verse 7, and it says, "Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it." So it's pretty much giving you a warning about Jacob's trouble. And the Jacob's trouble is going to be, the last seconds of Esau Edom's rulership, here on earth. And he still has the Hebrew Israelites in his captivity. But then in the last seconds of his rulership, he's going to slaughter the 2/3 of the nation of Israel, and then attempt to slaughter all of them ultimately. But as the scriptures say, it says, "But he shall be saved out of it." And that remnant that's going to be saved out of it is the hopeful elect, and the 1/3, that's pretty much adhering to this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding now. While they have a time and liberty, to get this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Because there's going to come a time where we're pretty much just going to be locked down, biblical lockdowns. Everybody's saying things on like would you say Instagram, Twitter, about how things are starting to look very biblical out here. So the first article, and I guess this one was posted yesterday on the 23rd of November, 2020, year of prophecy, and then this one was posted today on the 24th, or 8 hours ago. So this first article is speaking about how millions stick to Thanksgiving travel plans despite the warnings. So none of these people want to adhere to these grievous laws that all the the rulers of the world, the luminaries, the Rothschilds, that they put out these orders about people putting on masks, people having to do 6 feet social distancing, people having to shut down their businesses and their means of income, for the sake of protecting your grandma because of the CV-19. So as you can see with this article, it's raising awareness that people aren't adhering to these lockdowns. I believe the CDC. Let me see. The CDC also posted Thanksgiving guidelines. And we could just quickly click them so you can get the gist of it. The CDC is pretty much telling you to adhere, to pretty much not doing this. And if you were to do this, you got to make sure you do all 6 feet, wash your hands, eat as separate as possible. So if anything, they advise to not celebrate Thanksgiving, at all, because it goes against what they want to happen, which is, they want everybody to be shut down, locked down, and then be fully dependent on the government, and then so that they have to wait for that vaccine. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I should say the Maxine waters, so that they could eventually take, the mark of the beast that's going to come down the lines, all at the same time. All hell's breaking loose. World War III is still, brewing. The sedition among men is at an all-time high. We still don't know who the president is yet. But then both the presidents are saying that they have these Maxine Waters, on the ready, and then they're gonna Operation Warp Speed it. Within 24 hours, they're gonna see who is and isn't down with the New World Order agenda. And you already know, because people aren't adhering to the Thanksgiving CDC guidelines. They're actually traveling. So as you can see, not everybody's going to be with it. So Esau Edom is going to come down with the sword, just like how it says in the book of Revelation. And that's Jacob's trouble. Because he's going to pretty much attempt to establish his new world order by any means necessary. All right, so reading the article, I'm gonna try to read this fast. It says about 1 million Americans a day packed airports and planes over the weekend, even as the CV-19 deaths surged across the U.S. and public health experts begged people to stay home and avoid big Thanksgiving gatherings. So they want people to stay indoors. Don't go to work unless you're an essential worker. For a tech company or something like that. So. They don't want people to pretty much, so-called spread this thing. And it says right here that they're begging people to stay at home and avoid Thanksgiving. They don't want you to celebrate, Thanksgiving, which ultimately, I don't recommend celebrating Thanksgiving. But that's another thing, because the majority of these people, they're still locked into this world and the ways and customs of this world. So telling them to change, do a quick change, it's going to mess up their whole game plan. Now, but continue on, it says, and the crowds are only expected to grow. Next Sunday is likely to be the busiest day of the holiday period. To be sure, the number of people flying for Thanksgiving is down by more than half from last year because of the rapidly worsening outbreak. However, the 3 million who went through the U.S. airport checkpoints from Friday through Sunday, and as you pull up the calendar, I believe it's from Friday the 20th to Sunday the 22nd. And it says, Friday through Sunday of November 2020, year of prophecy, before Thanksgiving. It says, Friday through Sunday marketed the biggest crowds since mid-March, when the COVID-19 crisis took hold of the United States. So from, if you could think back a few 8 months ago, once this thing started happening, like everything started getting shut down, the airports started to have minimal flights. But now, because it's one of America's favorite holidays, that changed. Everybody's at the airport right now. All right, so continue on. It says many travelers are unwilling to miss out on seeing family and are convinced they can do it safely. Also, many colleges have ended their in-person classes, propelling students to return home. So they're trying to get this thing locked down. They're trying to have everybody at home, avoiding crowds, because they're pretty much about to try to establish this New World Order agenda, which is pretty much checkpoints everywhere to make sure that you have the Maxine Waters passports, and then so with the Maxine Waters, it's going to lead, to the RFID, device that's going to be utilized with it. If you've been studying this devil, even from the beginning of this year, because knowledge was increased so much that they had to shut down a lot of things. Like as we speak, we here at Great Millstone, we have to limit the way we speak, because they've been flagging people. Like I've never heard of a person get flagged twice on the same video, to the point that they had to have their video shut down for one video. But see, those are the times that we're coming into. We're coming into the famine of the word, Jacob's trouble, and then the times spoken about in 2nd Ezra 15. In this article, it speaks about how in New York City, we'll have COVID checkpoints at key bridges and crossings. So you're not going to be able to enter a city, unless you abide by Esau Edom's standards, in these coming days. All right, so I want to read this in Daniel 8:25. And if you read further, you get a little bit of understanding of the premise of it, because Daniel he saw these beasts in his vision, and so the fourth beast, it had like metal teeth, and it was trampling on things, and it was pretty much representing of the Roman Empire. But the Roman Empire is Babylon, America, revitalized, just with a grievous head wound that healed. All right, but so this is the thing, that Esau Edom did in these dynasties, if you will. So this is Daniel 8:25. It says, "And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince and the princess, but he shall be broken without hand." So he's going to attempt to establish his new world order with all these policies. I think if you type in Joe Biden, Second Amendment. Let's try to get this real quick. Yeah, because Joe Biden, he's going in on the weapons tough. He wants to take everyone's guns away. I'm not gonna read all these articles, but you get the gist of it. Is Joe Biden, he's trying to get it so that the people, or the mundanes of the world, they don't have any means of defense once Esau Edom comes and rolls in on everybody, so that he can administer the Maxine Waters and the RFID microchip that works hand in hand with that. So that's what he's going to do with his policies. He's going to make unrighteous decrees. Like you can't celebrate Thanksgiving with your family, which like I said, I don't care for this holiday, but then that's a show of power that this man can say something and have everybody wear a mask. He says something and then it's going to have you, read this article about how people shouldn't be going to the airports and how they're quote unquote begging, for them to not go celebrate Thanksgiving with their families. So with his policies, he's going to be able to establish this, to an extent. Because as you read at the end of it, it says he's going to stand up against the princes of princes, which is going to be how Shireen returns. But it says, but he shall be broken without hand. So like in this precept and in Jeremiah 13:7, it talks about a great woe, a thing to be worried about. But then it comforts you to know that even in these same precepts, it lets you know that Esau Edom is not going to succeed. All right, so just real quick, I want to read this article. It's just this paragraph. It says, the sheriff's office will conduct spot checks when out-of-state buses drop riders off at the curb. Test and tracing teams will be on the ground to direct individuals to testing sites and provide education on quarantine. The 14-day quarantine mandate that travelers quarantine or test out violations of self-quarantine will be enforced and may carry fines up to $1,000 or $2,000, according to the mayor's office. So they're going to know if you so-called got the CV-19, and if you're not adhering to the stay-at-home orders, that they're going to fine you, with a big fine. And none of these people are working. All right, so I want to read this in 2nd Ezra 15 because this is written in the scriptures, for our learning, to let us know that these are the last days. Esau Edom is about to lock things up and attempt to establish his new world order. All right, so I'll read it. 2nd Ezra 15, outside of 14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands." And I'm not going to Google, so-called left-wing, right-wing, paradigm battles. You see the Antifa and the Republicans fighting out in the streets on Twitter. Because other brothers have posted those videos, and I'm sure everyone has seen those already. America, is divided, to like as most as have ever had, in recent times. So you're gonna see people pretty much, gonna damn near draw a line on the sand and then just go all out. All right, so continue on verse 16. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." So it's going to be, like the Thunderdome out here. People aren't going to adhere to the, to like Fauci or Cuomo or, Trump, Biden, whoever it may be telling them to do things. Not everybody's going to adhere to what they're saying. A lot of these people are just going to do what they have to do because their stomachs are going to get hungry, and then they're not going to be able to go into the city, so they're going to have to go into other people's houses and start invading one another. And that's where you're going to see, the sedition among men. It's going to be, very bloody out here during Jacob's trouble. All right, so verse 17 says, "A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able." And this ties into what's going on right now. Because a lot of people can't go into the New York City, except they have these CV-19 passports. That goes hand in hand with what they're trying to do with the RFID microchip. They're trying to have everybody on this system, and if you don't have that system, it'd be pointless for you to go into the city because you wouldn't be able to buy or sell in the city in the first place. So that's what you got looking forward to. We pretty much got to depart from Babylon mentally because we're not going to be here for long anyways. All right, so verse 18 it says, "For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword, and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." So those are the things we got to look forward to in Jacob's trouble. Lord's willing. I pray that the brothers who are listening to these videos, I pray that that you're protecting those days and that your names are found written in the book of life. Because these are going to be interesting times we're about to enter. So that's the end of this video. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwadash, and Shalom Akim.